by the City of Crowley and IHWE Professional Wrestling. It's just kind of a homecoming for me. I graduated from North Crowley High School in the year 2000, and over the years I went to school here, so this is a pretty big homecoming for me, and I'm glad to see y'all here. It's on Friday afternoon. Some kids are still in school, so I appreciate the people that did come out. This weekend is Old School Hustle. It kicks off tomorrow night right here at the Crowley Rec Center, and then we'll be back on Sunday night. We're going to have matches. We're going to have Hall of Fame inductions. It's going to be awesome. Some of the biggest stars in the world are going to be right here competing IHWE Old School Hustle this weekend. So, without further ado, my name is David Fuller. I am the founder of IHWE. I founded this company when I was I believe I was a junior at North Crowley, and it started in a backyard. It's a really great success story. And we've all dealt with bullying, adults, kids, and it's an epidemic that still goes on today. Bullying is not discriminatory towards any type of race, age. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are. Bullying is an epidemic that everybody faces, and it's been going on since the beginning of time. And you know, we're here today to share some of our stories, and maybe it'll help somebody, an adult, a kid. It doesn't matter. If we can help one person, then our goal has been achieved. And that's why we do this. The Crowley Rec Center has a table with some information and some waters over there. We have a table over here with some IHWE anti-bullying stuff. The Granbury Roller Derby team is over there. So, yes. So folks, this is about having a good time, and we are today. At this time, I'm going to welcome up our first speaker, and we're going to just come up periodically and talk. This man has had a professional wrestling career that has spanned 25 years. He is legitimately 7 feet tall. So he's like 4 of me. Maybe, and maybe that's me standing on a step ladder. He has battled the great Andre the Giant. He has wrestled numerous people in the Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame, and this coming weekend he takes his rightful place alongside with him as we induct him into the Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame. Today, he's retired, he's a motivational speaker, he's an entrepreneur, he's a good man. I want to welcome the 7 foot tall, you know him as the Giant Warrior and Colossus in his wrestling days, Jeff Bearden.
Everybody hear me okay? I understand y'all got out of school yesterday? Is that right? The one that were in school? How many are glad to be out for the summer? Hey, I was just the same way when I was a kid too. You know, I'm not going to get up here and try to tell everybody that I know exactly what's going on in this world, and a lot of you are probably looking at me thinking, as big as I am, I probably don't know a whole lot about bullying. And you're right, stuff as far as being a victim. Because, you know, the only thing I had to worry about when I was growing up going to school was the fact that, you know, I was taller than everybody else, I was really skinny, and I had like this funny haircut that my dad used to give me out in the garage. So that was really the extent of people making fun of me that I had to worry about. But because of my character and my persona when I was wrestling, I learned a lot about bullying from the bully's perspective. So I wrestled overseas a lot. When I would go into these foreign countries, I was usually a lot bigger than the guys I was wrestling against. And through that, I learned that the crueler I was and the more vicious I was to my opponent, the fans would get irate with it. And the more irate they would get, the more vicious I would get with it. So I learned more about bullying and stuff by actually bullying my opponent's fans by trying to get them upset. And the other place where I started learning a lot about being a bully was working for a haunted house. Now, how many people have seen the Friday the 13th movies and knows who Jason is? That was the character I played in this haunted house. And this was a really big ghost town just outside of Las Vegas. And I had free reign of the whole place. Now my favorite thing to do was to find somebody in line and come up and stand just as close behind them as I could, when they had no idea I was behind them. And they could hear me start breathing through that mask, and they would eventually turn around, and if they jumped or screamed or tried to run away from me, my night was made. And I mean, I've had people pee in their pants on numerous occasions, and actually do worse than that, but we won't discuss what those were. But the one thing I learned that applies to bullies is a lot of times these bullies are just looking for a reaction. And I know with me, with the haunted houses or even with the wrestling, if I didn't get that reaction that I was looking for from my victim, then I wasn't happy, but I would move on to the next person and try to find somebody else that I could scare or be a bully to. And this is what a lot of the kids in school are starting to face, is these bullies are just trying to get recognized. And bullying comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. You know, you've got with guys, it tends to be more of a physical thing. They want to push somebody around, they want to intimidate people. But with girls, they can be every bit as vicious as what guys are because they go about it a different way. You know, with girls, it's more about emotions and people's reputations. And a lot of times the reputations that get created by these female bullies, or even guys, these kids, the victims never really quite get over. And you're hearing more and more about the bullying because there's a lot of celebrities out there now that have come out and talked about, you know, how they were bullied when they were in school. Charlotte McKinney, she was just on Dancing with the Stars, and she was the really hot blonde that was on the Carl's Jr. ads during the Super Bowl. She was actually bullied to the point that she quit school when she was 17 because she couldn't take it anymore. Red Food, he was also bullied, but he was bullied because he had a black father and a white mother. And kids made fun of him because of that interracial relationship. And then Justin Timberlake, who just about everybody knows. You know, he was picked on because where he grew up in Tennessee, the people there, if they didn't play football, were kind of an outcast. And he was into music and art. But you know, he later said that whatever people pick on you for when you're young is what later is going to make you sexy. And Justin Timberlake should know what it takes to be sexy. But the thing that you have to learn now is with the bullying, when you see it or if you're a victim of it, you've got to be able to tell somebody or it's not going to stop. I mean, 1 out of 3 kids say that they're bullied when they're in school. 160,000 kids across the United States say that they skip school on a daily basis because they've been bullied. And 1 out of 10 kids that drop out of school is because of bullying. So it is an epidemic that everybody is talking about. So if you see it or if you feel that you're a victim, speak up. You've got to talk to your parents, talk to a school administrator, a teacher, a coach, the counselors. Because if you don't step up and talk about it, nobody's going to step up to help you stop it. Thank you. It's my pleasure being here today.
As I said, Jeff will be inducted into the Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame this coming Sunday right here as a part of Old School Hustle 2015. We're so proud to be associated with Crowley. The Crowley Star newspaper did an interview with me last week, and I was humbled. And I talked about being a wrestling fan and growing up and being in school. You got beat up, you got picked on just for being a wrestling fan. You know, wearing wrestling shirts. Oh, it's phony, you know, why do you watch that? So, I mean, you know, I made the remark in the paper, I was a closet wrestling fan for so long, until the 90s came along, and then, you know, the bandwagon jumpers jumped on and said, oh, I like wrestling. Well, whatever. So I'm so proud to be involved and to be associated with such a great company. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a few different speakers here, not just IHWE superstars and Hall of Famers. We have some different speakers here. And one of the speakers we have is a really good man. He's a father. He's also a pastor. And he is a huge advocate for IHWE. He's also a resident of Crowley. And he's such a good man. And I met him last year, and he's just been so supportive, and we're very lucky to have him in our corner. And he's here today, Pastor Joe Martinez.
Switch hands here a little bit. How's everybody doing today, first of all? Oh, that's not loud enough, guys. How's everybody doing out there? There we go. First of all, my name is Joe Martinez. I'm an associate pastor here in the city of Crowley. And first of all, I'm humbled to be here, especially with all these superstars that are here. So humbled, such a humble opportunity to be here. And I wanted to just take a second to first of all, to all the children out here today that are here with us. Doesn't it feel good to be out of school today? Everybody enjoying their vacation. And actually, my son's here in the crowd. He's actually going to Disney World tomorrow. He's leaving for 2 weeks for Florida. There we go. So, he already knows. But no, I wanted to, and like Mr. Bearden just said a second ago, there was 5 points that I wanted to share with you today. And those 5 points are very crucial, and I want the parents that are here, you know, the adults, to hear this, because I think it's very important. And I was thinking, how did Mr. Bearden read my notes? But I think we just share that same knowledge on there. Number one, parents and students, excuse me, children. One thing that we need to understand is that over 3.2 million students, that's around the country, 3.2 million students get bullied every year. That's 3.2 million students too many. Because it's not just a issue to the students like David was saying a second ago. It also happens to us as adults. You know, sometimes we get bullied. You might not, you know, we would say, well, brother, that guy's 6'4". I mean, pretty hard for him to get bullied, but you know, one time I was small. And then I started eating my vitamins, and then whether you know, but it's very important to understand that bullying happens every day in our schools, in our homes, and we as parents need to be an example of that, of what not to do. I have in my household, I've been married to my wife now for 10 years, and I have 3 stepchildren. But they're not stepchildren, they're my children. So that takes a different core of how we see life, how we see our family, because when I married my wife, I brought the children with me. And they're part of my family, they're my children, there's no step involved. Number 2, over 160,000 students each day, excuse me, skip school each day because of bullying. And Mr. Bearden just said that a second ago. I actually looked that up on Google, and I was like, wow, 160,000 students each year that skip school because they're bullied. So the point of that is if you are getting bullied, first of all, it's not cool. But if you are getting bullied, we need to get with your teachers, get with get with your parents, because it has to stop. Number 3, only 1 out of 4 incidents that are reported to a teacher is taken, and I think that's more to us parents, because we need to hear, you know, when our children speak to us at the dinner table or at, you know, with your family time. That's the most important time. You know, there's sometimes when we get so busy with our tablets and our iPads and iPods and laptops on the dining table when it should be family time. And here are your children, because I'm sure they have stories like mine that come home every day and tell us something that happened, or you know, it's crazy out there. Number 4, 71% of students report bullying at the start of the school year. So So that says that at the beginning of the school year, 71% of students are reporting bullying. And it just gets worse as the year goes on and on because more students come in or whatever the case may be. So 71% of students, they get bullied. That's quite a bit. And number 5, like Mr. Bearden said, 1 out of every 10 students drop out because of bullying. And we all want to have a future. We all want to succeed. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you won't or you just cannot do that. Because one thing I always tell our community as a leader here in Crowley is that, and this is for you students, and listen to me when I say this, and to you adults as well. Anytime that anybody tells you that whatever you're trying to do is impossible, you tell them that impossible is actually spelled I'm possible. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pastor Joe, for coming up here and talking for a few moments. We greatly appreciate it. As I said, we have several people here today, and some are going to be involved in the weekend's events, the wrestling. Again, it kicks off tomorrow night, right here. We're hopeful to be back several times a year doing stuff with the Crowley Rec Center. Everybody here is going to be great. Everybody from Chastity to Ryan, the City Council, Mr. Johnny Shotwell's here. He's an Air Force veteran right there. Johnny, thank you. The Mayor Billy Davis, everybody's been fantastic. So, anyway, I want to bring somebody up. I don't know how many words he'll have to say, but he is this guy is all over the world, and they call him the American Psycho. And he is Texas-born, Texas-bred. He's currently a superstar in New Japan Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Noah, Global Force Wrestling. He's been to the WWE, he's been to TNA, he's been absolutely everywhere anybody can go. And he's extremely humble, he's very kind, and he took time out today to come talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Hoyt!
Thank you very much. First off, I had no clue I was going to be up here talking, so thanks. Like I said, I've had some amazing opportunities in my life. I've chased this dream of mine for about 15 years now and had opportunities to work with some of the biggest companies in the world, some of the favorite superstars that you guys know, from the John Cenas to the Undertakers and those guys. I've had an opportunity to be around them, hear from them, get advice from them, learn from them. So as far as the wrestling career is going, I've been extremely lucky, and like I said, I get to go to Japan, and in fact, I'll be wrestling for IHWE tomorrow, and then Sunday morning I'll be flying out to Japan for a couple more weeks. The one thing that I wanted to touch on, hearing all the statistics that are being put out there, is it's a little different type of bullying, but I think this day and age it rings true more so than anything. When you brought up the iPads and the phones and the computers that we're all on all the time, almost nonstop, is the cyberbullying aspect that I think all of us deal with. And us as wrestlers, we can ring true with this as much as anybody, because what we do is extremely judged by a lot of people, and not all the time are they very nice about what they say and how we do what we do as far as pro wrestlers are concerned. So that relates to the kids and to the adults and to everybody who's on the Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and all the different social medias that we put ourselves into, and we're listening to, and we're hoping that people are liking our pictures and commenting on our statuses and seeing what we're doing and paying attention. And unfortunately, I think sometimes we're extremely disconnected trying to be so connected. And when you're talking about cyberbullying, you're talking about nameless, faceless people. A lot of times the people who are saying what they're saying, they're not standing in front of you, they're not confronting you. They're saying it online, they're saying it where they feel comfortable doing so because you are not there to either tell them to stop or to tell somebody else to tell them to stop. And sometimes you feel extremely powerless in the cyberbullying aspect. And the one thing I think that we all have to remember, whether we're 100 years old or 5 years old, is that we have the power, especially with cyberbullying, to turn it off. to change it, to not pay attention to it. You know, they say sticks and stones can break our bones, but words will never hurt me. And unfortunately, especially this day and age, it's words that are hurting us more often than physical confrontations and the actual moment of being bullied by somebody. It's the fact that somebody has gone on and said, listen, I think you're bad, I think you're ugly, I think you're dumb, I think you're stupid, or something to that degree. And they're the ones that are very unconfident in who they are, and they're the ones that are trying to make themselves feel better and trying to nudge their friends and go, oh, look what I said to them, and look how it's making them upset. And the thing is if you give them that power of being upset, you've helped them continue to bully you and other people. And if you take that moment and take that power and just turn it off, change it, don't pay attention, don't give those bullies that power over you through words that they use against you, because that's what they are, they're words, and they're not the people who really care about you. Go to your family, your true friends, talk to them, say, you know, this is happening to me, what do you think and how do you feel? And they will support you and tell you not to listen to them, and that's my biggest thing. Take the power in yourself, take the power in the devices that you're holding in your hand that are in front of you, your computer screens, your TVs, your phones, anything that is telling you something negative, and turn it off. If that's what it's doing, is being negative, turn it off. Take the power in yourself because you can, you're worth it, and nobody can tell you that you are not the person you should be. Listen to your family, listen to your friends, they're the ones that love you. It's not the people who are saying the things on the internet. Thank you very much. I hope you guys will all come out tomorrow and enjoy some wrestling tomorrow on Sunday.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble with him later. He's a big man. All right, thank you, Lance. All right, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, several superstars who are speaking to you today will be in action this weekend. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, make sure you get your tickets. You can get some here. Chastity Ryan with the staff, or Old School Hustle, be here tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing. I stated earlier, we have certain people here, individuals different from just the superstars, the Hall of Famers. Pastor Joe Martinez, and we have somebody else. She is a radio personality. She has gotten to work over a span of a long tenure with one of the most charismatic, caring individuals of our generation. She has gotten to work with the legendary Kid Kraddick. And we all know about Kid, we all know everything he's done, all the charitable things he's done over the years, and we're lucky to have her here today. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Kid Kraddick Show, Shanon!
Thank you. Hey guys. I'm nervous. Sorry if I start getting shaky voice, but I feel really dumb because I didn't do any research for what I was going to talk about. I feel even dumber following Lance because he pretty much said everything I was going to say. So I feel like I should just say hi and bye and sit down and walk away and let you have your day. But I have unlimited time, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I wrote 11 pages of note cards, so. It all started on a July day in 1981 when my mom went into labor and gave birth to me. She spelled my name wrong. I get crap for that all the time. That's one way I'm bullied. She left an N out of my name, so it's S-H-A-N-O-N. People love to make fun of me for that. But anyway, I wanted to work for Kid my entire life, and my dad always told me I would never do it. I was too stupid, was the word that he said. I was too quiet, it would never happen. So basically I was gonna show him and I was gonna make it happen. So my senior year of high school in 1999, I had the chance to do an internship, and I decided that I was gonna go work for KISS FM. And I had to do a lot of begging to even get an interview with the promotions person because I was not old enough to go do club gigs. So I made a lot of calls, did a lot of begging, a lot of pleading, got an interview, got the internship, which led to a lot of closet cleaning, a lot of golf pencil sharpening, but I did it, loved it, and eventually I got an internship with the morning show, got another internship with the morning show, another one, another. I spent years working for free. I'm still paying off credit cards for working for free for so long, but it paid off because they've yet to fire me. And I think it's 16 years later, here I am. So I produce for the show. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I've done bits for the show. I push buttons for the show. I make noises for the show. I do charity stuff for the show, a little bit of everything. So that's just kind of what I do. That's note card number 1. Number 2. Oh, that's number 2 too. So it pretty much rocks with the exception of my alarm clock going off as early as it does. I have to get up at 3:15 every day, so I'm kind of tired. You have to forgive me. But I do get the chance to reach a lot of people every day, whether it be through the radio, which I don't do a whole lot of anymore now that kid is gone. I'm kind of more responsible for the production part of stuff, keeping the show on the air. The kid passed away in July of 2013, and things have changed quite a bit since then. We are trying to keep this legacy going through Kids, which is a charity that we do to take chronically and terminally ill kids and their families. See, I'm getting nervous, I'm getting shaky voice, I'm sorry. He took my speech. It's like he took it when I set it down to do the ribbon cutting thing, and he read it, and he totally jacked it. And I should have just done research or something, but I didn't. Yeah, pretty much. You bullied me. And I just want to take your hair and pull it or something and bully you back. But then you got the 7-foot tall guy, and I'm terrified, so. But anyway, I'm just going to skip around because these note cards are not doing me any good. But one of the things that he did touch on is social media. And that's something that I do a lot of in my job. I have a Facebook page for Psycho Shanon, that's what they call me on my job. Although I'm very normal, I'm not psychotic. I only take 2 antidepressants, I promise, and those are just for migraines. And people are really, really quick to say mean and hurtful things, but they're also really quick to say nice things. And that's something that was pointed out to me, is that I'm human, I'm a girl, I'm hormonal. I choose to believe that it's the hormones that make me focus on the negative things that people say more than the positive things that people say. And people are really, really harsh. They can see. I remember the one time that somebody said, we were doing a calf challenge on the show, and somebody said that I had cankles. Now, I don't know if I have cankles, but that's one thing I'm never going to forget, is them saying that I have cankles. Another time somebody said that it looked like Edward Scissorhands cut my hair. Now, they might not have liked my haircut, but Edward Scissorhands certainly did not cut my hair. That hurt my feelings so bad. Like, it's the little things that certainly stick in your mind. It's the negative things that certainly stick in your mind, not the positives. And it's so sad that that's the way that our minds are set. And those are the things that stick out in our heads. And, we live in a society where kids, that's the way that they think, and that's the things that they're accustomed to having ingrained in their heads. I started this out by telling you, that's what I remember about my dad, is being told that I'm stupid, and I'm never going to achieve the goal that I wanted to achieve when I grew up. And so that's the one thing that I wanted to do in life, was prove to him, hey, guess what, look at me. And now I'm the girl that is too good for everybody. So, that's just the way that life is. And unfortunately, now it's kind of a game of prove everybody wrong. You're not gonna, I'm gonna show you your negativity's not gonna get to me. I'm still so nervous, oh my gosh. It shouldn't be so hard to talk to, 100, I don't know how many people there are. I should make y'all count or something so I can keep up with my limited time. But I'm not gonna. But, and I was thinking today when I was writing my speech, during the show, because that's how hard I work, is that I wrote this during the show. I was thinking about this little girl named Penny that we took on the trip last year, and she just finished up with chemo. And her hair is finally grown back, and Penny's hair is something that's really important to her. When she was bald, she always wore a beanie because she was ashamed of being bald. And now that she's got her hair back, she still insists on wearing a beanie because she thinks that she's ugly. And she's 7. She's a beautiful little girl, and it breaks my heart to see this kid so hell-bent on the idea that she's ugly. And you know that somebody somewhere told her that she's ugly. And now it's 90-something degrees, and this poor kid is running around outside with a beanie on her head because somebody told her she's ugly. And that's gonna stick with her until somebody somehow convinces her otherwise. So you gotta remember that the little things really do matter, just like the good, the bad too. So do your best to be kind to people. I mean, really, you can't change the world, but you can change yourself. You can't control other people, but you can control your actions. And all you gotta do is be nice, treat other people well, treat them the way that you want to be treated. I know it sounds so cliche, but it is true. If you would only treat people the way that you want to be treated, treat others with respect and with dignity, then it really will go a long way and pass the message along. And eventually, maybe you can make just a little bit of a difference in the world. So. I didn't use all my note cards, but I think I'm about to hyperventilate. So I'm gonna go sit down, get some water, and give my unlimited mic time to probably another wrestler who probably stole the last 7 pages of my note cards. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. I don't really.
Give it up for Shanon. I think she did fantastic. What a story. Awesome. All right. Get this thing rocking and rolling. You know, I was an introvert in school. The quote I gave to the paper, and I'm going to say it now, and I hope nobody kind of looks at me with bug eyes, is, you know, if I would have winded up as a serial killer, everybody in school would have said, well, we saw that coming. You know, I was not outgoing. My best friends were my parents, and I was okay with that. And at 15, I had to deal with a life-changing event. My mom passed away. She was only 38 years old. I was only 15. And it was only a few weeks before I started my sophomore year at Crowley High School. And, you know, it turned out to be a pretty good year school-wise. Everybody was cool. But, you know, sometimes you get dealt hands and you just gotta, life throws you things that you just have to overcome. And that's what today's about, giving anybody some advice, pointers. You know, that's what people that have already been through it are giving you their 2 cents. So, anyway. You didn't come here to hear me blabble, so I'm going to bring somebody else up here. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former DFW champion. He's the international high flying sensation. Give it up for Americos!
Well, thank you, David, for having me here, and thank you guys for all coming out today. So we've already had 2 pretty big superstars come up here that could potentially be bullies in the ring, and obviously I'm not that guy that's gonna throw people around. I'm kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum, but really anything that I endure in the ring, or that any of us endure in the ring, it's really nothing compared to what we see, like on Facebook, on social media, on the news, all the stories we hear, on all the news stories, all these kids that are dealing with like the worst kind of bullying we can imagine. I don't have a whole lot to say, but hopefully what I say can really relate to the kids. Growing up, I'm really fortunate that I didn't endure a whole lot of bullying. Mostly what I endured was people telling me that I could not fulfill my dream of becoming a professional wrestler. Mostly because of my age at the time, and because of how big I was. Because I was obviously one of the smallest guys in my class. But it was all that I had wanted to do. And whenever I would tell anyone what I wanted to do, they were like, you know, that's not for the bigger guys, man. You're kind of small, you may not succeed in that. But when I was 15 years old, I had it set in my mind what I wanted to do. And at 15 years old, I enrolled in a professional wrestling school, and I became a pro wrestler. And even whenever I got to a wrestling school, people were still, they were like, well, that's cool that you got in, but man, you're not going to go very far. It's not going to last that long. You're still just too small. You're going around, they'll kill you. I just want to say, no matter what you want to do, no matter who you want to be, nobody can control your destiny except for you unless you let them. Surround yourself with people that will be positive around you and no negativity, because a lot of that negativity is going to weigh on you heavier than the positive if you allow it to. I've currently been in this business for almost 6 years, and so far I've had the opportunity to wrestle with guys like Lance Hoyt, all these guys that are here today. I'm here with IHWE, one of the absolute best companies in the state of Texas. I've been on Ring of Honor so far, and I've done more than I ever thought I would, mostly because of what people said before. And I just want to say that to every kid out there that wants to be something, that wants to do something that they believe is larger than life, no, it's not impossible. No, you're not too small to do it. And yes, you can be whatever you want to be. Thank you everybody for having me here.
I think if you were to stack me on top of Americos, we might equal Jeff Bearden or Lance Hoyt. Maybe. There might be a little step ladder involved. So, maybe. But then it would just take them going to blow us down. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, got a couple more speakers. The next three gentlemen will all be wrestling this weekend at Old School Hustle. One of the gentlemen I'm bringing up, actually 2 out of the 3 of them are not nice guys at all. You see them in the ring, they're just not nice guys. But, you know, they were at one time, and I think I was able to drag that out of them to come here today and talk to you about this. So one of them I'm going to bring up right now. He's the Outlaw, Randy Wayne.
Like Lance, I didn't realize David was roping me into speaking when I agreed to come out and do this, but I'm really glad to do it, because the first several speakers, I've heard some really enlightening things that kind of touched me. Lance brought up social media, and it made me start thinking, have I actually bullied people or said something that hurt someone's feelings online? And if I'm going to stand up here and be honest with you and myself, the answer to that is definitely yes. So Lance, you got me there, buddy, and I stand corrected. I'm going to make the changes I need to make to be a better person in that regard. And then I heard Shanon talk, and it made me think about my dad, who told me I wasn't athletic enough to play college basketball, I wasn't college material, I wasn't smart enough to go to college. And much like her, you know, I made a point to prove him wrong, and then over time our relationship has definitely gotten better. What I want to convey to you is it's never okay to bully someone, nor is it okay to sit back and allow yourself to be bullied. So if you're being bullied at school, you're being bullied even at church or anywhere, it can happen anywhere. And don't be afraid to go to your parents, go to your teachers, go to your pastor, whomever, and speak to them and ask, you know, can we have something done to make this stop? Because I'm looking around and I'm trying to find another redhead, and there's, well, Hayden's over there. So being a redhead, trust me when I tell you that bullying happened a lot in school. The fact that in high school I was about the same height, but I weighed about as much as David does. So I really got picked on a lot, and I get it. And it's one of those things that as I grew up, it kind of slowed down some, but it still happens. So just keep that in mind. If you're being bullied, don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you're one of those people like me that just sat there and had kind of a face-to-face meeting with myself, if you're picking on somebody, no matter what it is, you don't know what that individual is going through at home. You don't know what that individual is going through at school or in their own mind. So instead of saying something hurtful, reach out and say something nice and try to help that person. Thank you.
All right. Now, if you come here tomorrow night, you will not see that same man in the ring, believe me. But he's successful at it, so more power to him. Our next speaker is a former IHWE Tag Team Champion. He'll be here actually in the Tag Team Tournament tomorrow night, competing for the Tag Team Championship along with his partner Kenny Still. I still don't know what that's about, and I don't think anybody else does either. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kristopher Haiden.
Spoiler alert, I'm winning those tag team championships on that table there tomorrow night. So, I was one of the first ones that got here shortly after David did today. And after seeing David and after seeing some of the other superstars come in, dressed up in slacks and nice shirts, it made me feel really underdressed, I'm not gonna lie. But I just kind of thought to myself, I'm me though, you know, and which kind of brings me to my subject of being yourself. Just like David said earlier, he said he was bullied a lot in school for liking wrestling. I was the same way. But that didn't stop me from being myself. I wore wrestling shirts at school. I wore wrestling shirts just about everywhere. I was a big wrestling fan. And today, I'm actually living my dream, and I can tell you right now, I can vouch for it. Some of the kids that used to make fun of me, one of them makes my sandwich at Subway on a nearly weekly basis. But, I mean, bullies, let me ask all the superstars to stand up for a second. Please, guys, do you mind? Come on. I know Jeff and Lance probably don't have to, you can see them, but you see guys, you got small, big, tall, average. Bullies come from all walks of life. Those guys right there, I can guarantee you, as big, as small, as tall, as wide as any of them are, guys like that have been bullied before. Unfortunately, guys like that do the bullying too. And the same goes for women. Thank you, guys. And the same goes for females too. It comes from all walks of life. And the thing you got to remember is whether you're bullied in school, whether you're bullied out of school, you can talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to bring it up to anybody. Don't be afraid to, talk to a principal, talk to a teacher, talk to your parents. If you guys are bullied in school, I tell this to my little sister all the time. She's a sophomore in high school. School is just, it's a blip on the radar in life. And it's definitely not something that's school isn't going to make who you are outside of school. So if you're getting bullied in school, don't be afraid to say something. Don't be afraid to stop it now. Because it's unfortunate that some people don't, and some people take the bad way out, and I don't want to see that, and I'm sure nobody else wants to see that either, guys, so don't be afraid to step up and say something before it gets too late.
Well, Kristopher, Haiden, if you make Jeff stand up again, you may not win those tag team titles tomorrow. So, all right. We've had people come in from all over to be a part of this. Like Jeff and his wife, Joe, from Las Vegas, Nevada. Lance Hoyt is in Japan pretty much almost every week, and he still lives here, so he's taking time out of his schedule to come here today wrestling. Then he's going to be back in Japan next week for a long tour. And I'm grateful. Everybody that has taken the time to speak today, I want to say thank you. Give everybody a hand who's spoken so far. All right. Now to our last speaker of the afternoon. This man has, over the years, he's dealt with bullying, not just in his younger days. He's dealt with it, or not with bullying, just naysayers and people saying, oh, you can't do this, and the proverbial guard. A couple years ago, he was in a very serious automobile accident, and he may not be here today had things been a different way. He's a father, he's a teacher, he's a coach, he's a fantastic human being, and he has persevered through more than most average human beings could possibly think of. He's one of the top superstars, not only of IHWE, but of the Southwest. He's wrestled all over the world. He is the Bionic Beast, Franco D'Angelo.
Well, hello. I can honestly say I didn't expect all that, nor did I expect to be up here.
It's a recurring theme.
Yeah, it is a recurring theme with this, but I'm actually glad I am, because after listening to this, and before I start, Shanon, you did great. You don't have to worry about it. And I feel like I should help you. But there lies the point I want to make, and I want to tell the kids about it. He mentioned I do have 2 kids, and I am a school teacher and a coach. And he does talk about how I might not have been here. And we'll start there, go back, and then come right back to where we are. When I was in that accident, I had a lot of doctors tell me, and Lance was there, so he kind of has a little grin on his face, but and for those of you who don't know, Lance was my trainer. He taught me how to do this business. And so I sat there, and Lance is in there, and you know, when you see a big old guy like that, and he's a big dude, right? And when you see him sitting in there, and he gets a little teary-eyed because he's looking at me, and I got tubes and staples and all kinds of things on me, he's thinking to himself when he hears a doctor say, that guy's never going to walk again. He thinks, wow, he's really never going to walk again, because you want to listen to what the doctor says. And so I had just met my dad about 7 months before. I never knew him a day in my life. And this big giant man comes walking in. For me to say that, he's a pretty big dude. And he comes walking in and he tells me, don't listen to a beep, boop, boop word they say. And I said, all right, well, what are we going to do? And he says, let's do a bodybuilding show together. Like in a wheelchair? Like, what do you want me to do? And he says, no, we're going to do it. And Lance looks over, and Lance is like, yeah. But, you know, as a friend, he's like, oh, man, my buddy's not going to walk again. And you know, and pretty much everybody was, hey, he's not going to walk again. And I just went, you know what? I've been through this my whole life. So to go back, when I was a kid, I was bullied bad. And it wasn't because of the fact that I didn't really have friends. I had friends. It wasn't because I wasn't smart or didn't have talents. I did. The reason I was bullied was really weird. I had this really weird abusive stepfather. And I would come to school with bruises, cuts, all kinds of stuff, and everybody made fun of that. And what's kind of crazy about that is, when you go through stuff like that, people don't know why you're that way. So you look like this clumsy guy, or you want to make up stories or whatever. And so what happens is it kind of takes your self-esteem down. And when your self-esteem is down, you want to answer for everything. So if somebody says you're ugly, or they say that you're fat, or they say that you're whatever, you decide, well, I'm going to answer to that. I have to give this person what they don't deserve, which is credence to what they're saying. And so what happens is, the rest of your life, you start to figure that you have to answer to people. You have to prove people wrong. And what that did to me was, it made me later on in life become a bully. See, I decided to start working out, started fighting. I decided I was going to make a lot of money. I decided I was going to do a lot, and I did it all. And wouldn't you know, the very first day, and there's a reason I say this because I'm looking over my buddy who drives one now, but I bought this brand new Corvette, and I was so happy. And I pulled up, right, I cut a guy off, told me to get out of my way, handed the guy $100, said, you park my car here, and walked right in. And then about an hour later, the girl I was dating goes, you're a boop. I'll see you later. And I thought, whoa, maybe I should change the way I'm doing this. And I really liked her. You know, I really wanted, that was my girlfriend. And I thought, well, wonder why that happened, right? And so what happens is you get so caught up in making everybody else see what it is that you forget who you are. And so I teach my kids this, and I teach every one of my students this. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody but yourself. You don't have to worry about what anybody says. You don't have to worry about any of that. Because as long as you know the truth, and as long as you know you're living for what is right, you don't have to prove it to anybody. So you spend every single day making sure that you do what you're passionate about, making sure that you do what makes you happy, and making sure that you do the right thing at all times. And you're not going to hurt anybody because you're not going to judge anybody, right? So while I bring that up, we'll go into wrestling now. And this is where it gets kind of weird. Wrestling used to be this thing for giants, guys like Lance and like Jeff, right? These guys are huge, and when you walk in, you go, oh, everybody, it's hard not to stare at them, you know, because you don't see guys like that every day, right? Well, and maybe some of these guys can say it, but wrestling has kind of gone to a smaller kind of a guy lately. So when I come in, I'm considered one of the bigger guys, and when I come in, everybody's like, oh, what's this guy doing on the show? He can't do a backflip. He can't jump off the ropes. He can't do this, he can't do that. And in some weird way, it's kind of like that old school bullying, like when I was a kid, right? So I'm always going, hey Lance, so I'm gonna use Americos, but he's never done this to me. Hey Lance, Americos said this, and this, what do I do? And he'll just be like, do you know what you can do? Yeah. Do people pay to watch you? Yeah. Tell them to shut up and walk away. Okay, but then there's this other problem. As soon as I tell Americos to shut up, who's the bully? Me. So I'm kind of pigeonholed now because I'm a big guy and I gotta be the bully, right? Because if I do anything about it, I'm the bad guy, right? So basically here's what I'm gonna tell you guys. No matter what it is, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, what you look like, big, small, short, tall, whatever, it doesn't matter. You do the right thing, right then and there, you don't have to worry about proving it to them. And as long as when you do what you're doing gets you the success that you want, you don't have to worry about what anybody says, okay? So if you're out there and you play a sport, or if you are into art, or if you're in, art and music like Justin Timberlake, just be passionate about it. Give your all to it. And don't let anybody at any point in time tell you you can't do it. And if somebody does, if somebody is pushing and they're going, you have a mom, you have a dad, you have teachers, you have coaches, you have police officers, you have whatever that it is that you need to get to stop that from happening. And so the last thing I'll say here is that when you're thinking about a bully, understand that a bully doesn't have a look. A bully doesn't have a face. A bully doesn't have a type. A bully can be your best friend, it can be a parent, it can be just a person in a car, it can be anybody that you see, it can be the prettiest person, it can be the ugliest person. Right now, the best way to combat a bully is to be the bigger and better person. And I just think that if you guys will do that, you'll never have to worry about it again. Thank you for your time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was great. And Franco has persevered. And if you want to see this man in action, I strongly urge you to get here. Because seeing Franco D'Angelo is unlike seeing anybody you've ever seen before. You need to get here and see him live. You will not believe it. So they don't call him the Bionic Beast for nothing, folks. All right, we have one more speaker, and I was reminded of this. We've got 100 things going on, so I've said yes to about 100 different things this week. So, reminded of this, but we have one more speaker from the Granbury Roller Derby, and she's on crutches because of an injury from the roller derby, so we need to let her talk. Give it up for Bethany.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it, it's all good. All right, all you.
Hello. My name is Bethany McCoy, aka Mortal Kombat from the Granbury Roller Derby. And I just want to start out by saying, if anybody makes fun of you, Shanon, for your Psycho Shanon name, just tell them it's your derby name and they'll back off. I would like to say that I was never a victim of bullying, but I have been bullied by family, friends, teachers, pretty much everything. And I'm sorry if I start getting nervous. It all pretty much started when I was in middle school. I lived in Springtown and I didn't really have a lot of friends at all because I was very shy and very awkward, so I didn't really talk to anybody. And then we moved to Granbury. And I guess in Granbury, if you're shy and you don't talk, you're automatically like just made fun of as soon as you get into school. Don't know what that's about, but you know. I had short hair like above my ears. I wore hand-me-downs from my brothers because we couldn't afford to get me clothes. So all the girls at that school made fun of me and called me really mean things. And as a girl, it's really hard because it's very emotional, not physical. You start thinking like, I really wish that I looked like that girl over there, or like, I wish that these people would accept me, you know, like, all that's running through your head and you just want to change everything. It got so bad that I went through I wouldn't talk to anybody and everybody just thought I was mean because of that. So automatically, if you just try not to deal with it and just ignore people, then they start thinking, oh, well, she thinks she's too good, or, you know, that you just don't want to even spend your time on them, which isn't even that. You just don't want to say anything to make more things happen. I was in a lot of relationships too, and as a girl in your relationship, you want to make the guy that you're dating, you want him to like you. You want to be what he wants, no matter who you are, you know, what you do, you just want him to like you as much as possible. So you change everything. I've changed my hair, I've changed the way I looked, like, I changed the way I talked and acted in front of people. And that's just not right. If you're going to be with somebody, they need to love you for who you are. You shouldn't have to change. But the fact that all that happened has made it to where I still have issues with my husband that I shouldn't have, because I know that he loves me no matter if I have tattoos, no matter if, you know, I cut my hair off, shave my head, he loves me. But because of all that happened in school to me, I just can't let go of it. I've tried, and I've let go a lot, but there's still little bitty things that creep up every once in a while. And when I started roller derby, I was extremely shy still, and I thought that everybody was going to make fun of me because I could not skate. I fell so many times that it was not even funny. Like, I was so nervous. They said that I looked like a baby deer on my skates the first day because I was like all over the place. But, you know, as I started practicing, I noticed that everybody was trying to help me, and they were all taking time out of the practice for them to make sure that I was okay and that I knew what I was doing, and, you know, just trying to be friendly to me, which I wasn't used to at all. And it was just enlightening and made me so happy to be a part of something that accepted me. Like, I am covered in tattoos. I've had so many different, like, colors in my hair and everything, and every time I change, they're all like, oh, you look amazing. Like, what'd you do? Can you do my hair like that? Like, you're so cool. Like, and, you know, it just, roller derby, they accept everybody, no matter what your age, your size, your race. If you want to skate, they're like, come on, we don't even care. Like, just get out here. And they're like my family. My own family does not accept me as much as my roller derby girls do. And I wish that life for kids wasn't like this. I have two beautiful daughters, and I'm so afraid that they're going to go through the same thing I did in school. But unlike me, they have a mother that if they come home and tell me that, I'm going to tell them, you know what, you're you. You are beautiful. And it doesn't matter what they think about you. Like, sorry, I'm getting all emotional and stuff. I don't even talk like this to my husband. Like, it's hard. But I want all the young women out there to know that they don't have to change who they are just to make somebody happy. And just, that's all I wanted to say. Right? Try to move out of his way, they can't move.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Bethany, Granbury Roller Derby. I want to thank Shanon from the Kid Kraddick Show, Pastor Joe Martinez, Kristopher, Haiden, Randy Wayne, the American Psycho Hoyt, Americos, Bearden, Franco everybody for attending. We got some cool IHWE stuff over here. We got the tag team championship. If you want to get a picture with the belts. And tomorrow night, Old School Hustle. The doors open at 5 o'clock. If you happen to get a VIP ticket this past week or the past couple of weeks, you get in at 4 o'clock. We're going to start TV taping for IHWE TV Season 2 at 5 o'clock. And then Old School Hustle begins at 6. Same schedule on Sunday. Don't miss this, folks. This is the biggest live event in IHWE history. And some of these stars you saw today, you're going to get to see them live and in action. And you will not miss it. Thank you so much.